Posted by you/throwaway3719347. For context, I, 19F, am from the United States and currently a second-year university student in the UK. My boyfriend, 23M, is British, recently finished his master's, and is now working. We've been dating for 10 months, and he's my first boyfriend. He's been nothing but understanding, kind, and supportive throughout our relationship. I've met his parents and siblings twice, and both times were wonderful. His mom even told him she thinks I'm the one. In late November, he asked if I'd like to spend Christmas with his family. He said everyone would love to have me there, and I thought it was sweet, but I declined. I've been feeling homesick and wanted to spend Christmas, a holiday that means a lot to me, with my family in South Dakota. When I told him, he seemed aloof for a few days. I went to his flat later to reassure him that I'd love to visit his family another time, but for me, Christmas is a family holiday. I now realize how that could have sounded dismissive. He looked hurt and asked, "Do you still love me, and aren't I your family?" I reassured him that I do love him, and things seemed fine after that. About a week later, he surprised me by showing me a flight he'd booked to South Dakota for Christmas. Flights to South Dakota are expensive, especially internationally, and while the gesture was touching, I thought it was impulsive and unwise. I told him it wasn't a good idea. For the first time, he got really upset, accusing me of not caring about him, not being serious about us, and thinking only of myself, all of which are untrue. I love him and value our relationship deeply. Knowing he was speaking out of hurt, I asked him to take a walk to cool off. When he returned, I explained that he means everything to me, but I wasn't ready for him to meet my family. To be honest, I'm nervous about how my family would react. I'm white, he's Arab, and my family in rural South Dakota is not exposed to diversity. They've made ignorant, racist comments in the past. While they'd likely be polite to his face, I fear they might say something offensive or jokingly inappropriate. They also assume Arab equals Muslim, even though he's Christian. This ignorance embarrasses me, and I don't want to put him in a situation where he might be hurt. I didn't tell him any of this, though. Instead, I said I felt it was too soon to bring someone home, as in my family, that's often a precursor to engagement, which is true. He asked if he wasn't good enough, and I reassured him that he's perfect. He then mentioned that the tickets were non-refundable. I started crying, apologizing for wasting his money and saying how much I wanted him there, just not right now. He asked me to leave and said he needed space. I flew back home nearly a week ago, and since then, we've only had brief phone conversations. He still texts me "I love you" and "good night," but he's clearly distant and hurt. I don't know if there's anything I can do to fix this or reassure him. So, am I the jerk here? Update 2 days later. Yesterday, I decided to call him and try to fix things since what I did was so wrong. I explained my family's issues with racism, he's Jordanian and I'm white, and how I wanted to protect him by handling my family's problems before introducing him. I acknowledged that I should have told him and that I handled it poorly, but I promised to be honest with him from now on. I also told him that I had a conversation with my family about my relationship and made it clear that any racist behavior from their end would be completely unacceptable. Initially, he was understanding of my situation. He said my family didn't change the way he felt about it or viewed me, he was glad I was honest, and he even apologized for his earlier reactions. After a while, though, he said that after what happened, we should set some ground rules for each person in our relationship. I thought it was going to be about things like honesty, trust, and consideration. Instead, he literally gave me a list of things I must do in order for the relationship to be successful. First, he told me I couldn't make decisions about things without consulting him first. He said relationships require sacrifice and compromise, and for big things like Christmas and vacations, I would need his approval before making plans. He called it childish of me to be in the habit of doing whatever I want. Second, he told me I should distance myself from my family. I actually understand his reasoning here, considering how some of them are racist and not great people. I told him it was complicated because I still love them despite their flaws, which might make me just as bad, I'm not sure. I could still see where he was coming from, so I told him that if they ever made a racist comment in front of me, I would try to educate them, and if that didn't work, I would distance myself. He said I was playing middleman, which was unfair to him. He added that, in a few years when we get married, I would have to make a choice. Finally, he told me he wants my location on at all times and for me to go low contact with my male friends, most of whom are gay anyway. I told him that a lot of these rules seemed over the top. In the most patronizing tone, he said, "You've never been in a relationship before, and I'm older than you, so you should listen." The moment he said that, I thought it didn't sound like him at all. Most of the time, he is the most easygoing and relaxed person, so I couldn't believe it. I told him I didn't appreciate being talked to like a child, and if he wanted to be someone's father, He should look for another person. He said that while he still forgave me for what I did earlier, my behavior was a testament to how immature I am. Then he said we would continue the conversation another time and hung up before we could even say goodbye. I feel like I partially caused this shift in his behavior by inadvertently making him insecure because of my refusal to let him meet my family. Before this, he was honestly the last person I would ever consider insecure. He is very good looking, has a good career, and has always been confident, so I never thought he would act this way. It breaks my heart to know that I caused his actions, and I want to know how I can convince him to let go of the rules so things can go back to the way they were. Or, am I the jerk for declining to follow the rules? Should I just follow them? Commenter. This is classic controlling behavior. He is trying to isolate you from your family. I haven't read your other post yet, but it seems they are inadvertently giving him the tools to do so, from your friends, and basically everything that would provide you with a place of refuge and shelter if you ever need to leave him. This whole "I am older, so you must listen" nonsense wouldn't fly even if you were 10 years older. But he's 23, that's only 4 years older than you. He's still an immature child, maybe not legally, but certainly based on how he acts. What are the rules for him? What sacrifices is he making? From what I can see, he's trying to make all the decisions for you and make you totally dependent on him, while he gives up nothing. Not the jerk, and when you go back to the UK, politely tell him to F the hell off. Second update 2 days later. Hey everyone, I wanted to update you on my previous 2 posts. I received great advice from a lot of people, and it immensely helped me in trying to evaluate our relationship. I also texted my friends about the situation, and they agreed he sounded overbearing. About an hour ago, I ended things for good. I texted him yesterday afternoon to say that I thought we should have a serious discussion about our relationship. He suggested we wait until we had both cooled off from our earlier conversations, so I proposed we talk tomorrow. He sent me his usual "good night" and "I love you" text, which kind of broke me. His horrible behavior didn't erase 10 months of love that I felt for him, and it almost felt like I was betraying him by saying the same things back, knowing what I was planning to do in the morning. Here's a summarized version of the call. It was over an hour, so I condensed it as much as I could and wrote it down quickly afterwards so I wouldn't forget. When I called him, he seemed very normal and calm. We talked for 10 minutes about how things were going and other general stuff. Then, I basically told him that I didn't want to do this, but I thought it would be best if we broke up. I explained that we probably expected different things from our partners, and I couldn't meet what he wanted from me. After I said that, he sat in silence for about a minute. I thought the call had dropped, but then he said he was processing what I had just said. He asked me if this was revenge for what he had said 2 days ago, and I told him no, it was simply a realization of incompatibility. He then said he wasn't going to change his mind about his boundaries, and that me giving him an ultimatum was manipulative. I clarified that this wasn't an ultimatum, it was just what was going to happen. He kept repeating, "What the F, up," and then said I didn't mean it. He asked me if I still loved him, and I said yes. Then, he told me he knew I'd come back. I said this was it. He went on to say something about how we needed each other and started ranting, but I don't remember much of it because I was crying by that point. At the end, I cut him off and just said goodbye. He told me he would never forgive me and that I would never see him again since he was that awful, and then he hung up. I immediately blocked his number, WhatsApp, Snapchat, and Instagram. I don't think he has any other way of contacting me. I also don't think he'll seek me out or anything, so I'm not too worried about that. My university accommodation has front desk security, and you can't get in without a keycard. Thanks again, everyone. Edit. His mom just texted me, saying she was sad things ended the way they did but that she wishes me all the best. Commenter. Love when the first post is just a partner waving a red flag, and then the update is all red, everything is red, we are in a horror movie, no color other than red exists.